Okay, let's continue. Well, and using the module of string and then the predefined constants like the digits, the lowercase, the uppercase, letters, etc. And then we can do the code, do the character by character checking in a different way. Well, and this will save you some typing. And for example, if we want the user to type us a number, well, and to make sure that the user only gives us all digits but nothing else, and then we can do a character by character visiting, and that is we ask the user to type us a string, and then we want to do a for character in X. So we visit all the characters one by one, and then if a character is not in string.digits, so if a character is not part of the string.digit, and this means we are visiting a character and that is not a digit. So we want to print it's not a valid number, and then we want to do a break. Remember, what does a break do? A break says if we hear something and then we want to immediately terminate the whole iteration, right? So if we see one character and it is not a digit, and then we can say, nope, this is not a valid digit string anymore, so that is a false. And otherwise, if we are able to visit all the characters one by one and we never hit the break, and this means all the characters in this string are valid digits. Okay, so well, let's see a little bit more about the replace, and I want to test another thing about the replace. That is, for the replace, does that change the original string? Say I have a string c equals here, and then I want to do a c dot replace e I. So I'm replacing all the e's in the string c with another character I. So of course I'm gonna get HIRI, high right. Okay, but my question is, does that change the original string of the C that is here? And if I want to print here, and then you will see that is the same. So what does this mean? This means that for the replace, it's kind of the same thing as upper. So it will give us a new string with the needed modification. However, for the original string, it doesn't change. So how do I know that? Number one, I wrote this piece of the code and it can tell me that. And number two, if you want to go to the official Python documentation, you can see that too. So let's go to the official Python documentation again, which is here. And then I want to do a replace, probably parentheses. Okay, yes, for the replace, and then old, new, and then it says replace a copy of the string with all the occurrence of the substring old replaced by new. Okay, so again we are getting a copy with the string and then with the old string replaced with the new string. Okay, so let's come back. Well, by reading the official Python documentation, as we have already talked about, well, it will give you the most accurate information. Okay, well, even though sometimes we do Google searches a lot, well, if you want to see the official documentation, the doc.python.org, that's a place you want to go. Okay, well, another question we want to talk about the string is, do we have a data type of character? Well, and why do I ask this? Well, probably you don't know that if you come from some other languages, for example, like C or C++ or Java, and then you will learn one thing. That is, there is a character data type, and there is also a string data type. So for the character data type, it's only one character, one letter, or one digit, or one special character like a dot or a comma or a semicolon. However, just one character. And then there is also a string data type. So my question is, in Python, do we have a character data type? And how do I test that? Well, remember we have a type function, right? Say if I have the string C as here, and then I'm grabbing only one letter from the C. So I'm grabbing the E. And then I want to do a type. So, well, I'm asking Python to give me the type of the character E, and then I'm printing that out, and then I got a class string. So even for just one character, Python still treats it as a string. So the answer is there's no character data type in Python. There's only a string data type in Python. Even though we have a string with only one character, that is still a string. Okay, and the next thing, comparison. Say if we want to compare two strings, well, Python will compare all the characters one by one. And if they're exactly the same, and then Python will say, well, string 1 equals string 2. And otherwise, it is a false. Okay, and especially when we are comparing two strings, they are kind of the same, but one string has some uppercases and the other string is all lowercases. Say if we want to do a print banana equals banana, okay, and then it will give us a true, no problem. But if we change this to an uppercase, and then what will Python give us? Let's run this. Oops. Okay, the answer is a false. Well, even though they are kind of the same, but Python will treat the uppercase b and the lowercase b as two different characters. Okay? Okay, and the next, there are a few tricks about the in operator, and then sometimes we do want to pay some attention about the in operator. Well, like if we check a in a, well, a is a substring of itself, right? So we're gonna get it true. And apple in apple, the same thing. Well, apple is a substring of itself, so we get it true again. And next thing, empty string in a. Is that a true? Yes, that is true in Python. And a empty string is a substring of any other strings. And same thing, the empty string is also a member or a substring of apple. And another thing is we have the in operator, and then we also have the logic operator not. Right? Say then we combine the not operator and the in operator, and then we can have a not in. Well, not in is also supported in Python. Say, well, x not in apple. Well, x is x and a member in the string apple. The answer is nope. So not in will give you a true. Well, okay, so now let's see a couple of the exercises. Well, the first one, if we have a string Python rocks, and then how do we print a s.count O plus the s.count P? So you may want to remind yourself first, what does the count function do? Okay, so for the count function, it will give you how many occurrence of such a substring in the string s. So s, which is Python rocks, and if we want to count O, and then there are there are two O's. And how many P's do we have? In the s string, we have only one P. So 2 plus 1 will give us a 3. So the next one, how about the banana? We have a food, and that is the banana bread. And then we want to do a food.index banana plus the food index bread. So what are we going to get? Okay, so for the food.index banana, it will give you the start index of the first occurrence of banana. And what is that? That is here at the very beginning. So the first occurrence of the banana starts at index 0, right? So the first part is a 0, and the second part, it will give us the start index of the first occurrence of the string bread. So we have to count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the first occurrence of the bread is on index 7. So we have a 0 plus a 7, so The answer is 7, so B is correct. Okay, so for after today, and you should be able to do this section of the CS Circle exercise. And plus, I have also created a submission locker for the CS Circle questions. And what you need to do is you need to make 2 screenshots, or probably you have to do more if you have a smaller screen. But anyhow, you only have to submit the screenshots, and then I will grade the CS Circle CS Circle questions at the very end of this semester. Okay, so I'm gonna make another video talking about the daily exercises.